All right, everyone, Shana Tova. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, it is great to be here. I bring you greetings, of course, for the year 5782. May we all be blessed with health, with goodness, and with peace. Amen. And it's a blessing just that we are here physically together. We were not here last year, and we all know why. It has been a very strange and very eventful 18 months, as this pandemic has challenged us in so many ways. And so today, I'd like to take a brief look back at what we've endured and what we've learned, and set a course moving forward. We have discovered heroes in healthcare, food service, delivery people, teachers, those on the front lines, just doing their jobs. The pandemic taught us not to take them for granted, as many had before. They are the backbone of our society, and they deserve the lawn signs, they deserve the applause, they deserve the free food, and much, much more. We owe them a debt of gratitude. I live with 2 EMTs, so I know secondhand. Tomorrow, it was today, we had an aliyah, a special aliyah for those teachers and those who are heroes of healthcare. We gave everyone an honorary aliyah. Everyone, the teachers and those, they stood at their seats. They had a group aliyah. It was really wonderful. We also discovered limits. We discovered limits on toilet paper, hand sanitizer, flour, and more. God willing, please, I hope those are things of the past. We discovered life-saving vaccines in development for decades. The book of Deuteronomy, we are commanded to safeguard our physical health. As Moses declared, take utmost care and protect yourselves scrupulously. And our tradition teaches that if you save a life, it is as if you've saved the entire world. Vaccines not only protect you, but also those with whom you come into contact. So according to our tradition, unless there is a very specific reason, all of us should be vaccinated. We've discovered new skills such as baking, art, music, great TV, and great books. We've discovered that our technology is absolutely incredible. Raise your hand if you can answer yes to this question. Did you know what Zoom was before March of 2020? I think that's even more than in the sanctuary. I did not. But all of us learned very quickly, and it has been our lifeline, connecting us for Passover Seders, Shabbat and holiday services, classes, lectures, book clubs, and so much more. Many of you have told the cantor or me that you view the MJC live stream regularly. And some of you watch every night. It's not easy to pray into a camera, but knowing that you are there on the other end inspires us, and we both thank you. And in some ways, we are more connected now than ever before. The percentage of you that attend services is at an all-time high, and that's great. And you're not limited to MJC. You can view worship in Manhattan, in Los Angeles, in Jerusalem, literally anywhere. You can study with top scholars. You can hear from your favorite actors. The possibilities are endless. During this pandemic, I personally discovered and I fell in love with my Peloton. So, if you follow RMP 21289, 21289 was my address as a kid in Southfield, Michigan. I promise I will follow you back. Also, I'm a member of the #PelloClergy. on my Peloton. And I will say that when I reached my 100th ride and Cody Rigsby gave me a shout out, I cheered because I was one proud rabbi. We do not make New Year's resolutions on Rosh Hashanah. New Year's resolutions are often self-critical, they go unfulfilled, and they imply that if you just change this one habit, you'll be successful. We do not do that. Rather, let's look back at what we've learned and build upon it. We have discovered so much for which we are appreciative, and God willing, we will continue to show the same gratitude when we fully emerge from COVID. Indeed, feeling grateful leads to good health. Numerous studies show that people who have a daily gratitude practice in which they consciously count their blessings tend to be happier, have lower stress levels, sleep better, and are less likely to experience depression. How do you express gratitude? I started offering larger tips to food service workers, a practice I continue to maintain. Tara Parker Pope, who authors the Well column of the New York Times, adopted a regular gratitude hand-washing ritual, thinking of 10 things to be grateful for, one for each of her fingers and thumbs washed. And expressing gratitude is very Jewish. After all, we are called Yehudim. That is our name in Hebrew. Yehudim comes from the same Hebrew root as the word todah, which means thank you, making us the thankful people. It is fair to question, though, whether such small acts of gratitude even make a difference. In the face of our staggering challenges, global warming, poisoned politics, mass shootings, the list goes on. Judaism, though, affirms that any positive act, no matter how great or how small, matters. One small way that we can all make a difference is to donate to our annual Corners of the Field food drive. The Social Action Committee, led by our very own Liz Lawrence, who is here today. Liz, God bless you. The Social Action Committee and Liz asks each of us to take home a paper bag and fill it with items needed by Fulfill NJ, our partner, our community food bank. Please return your filled bag to MJC as soon as possible. The bins to accept bags will be out throughout the month of September. Hunger impacts everyone, especially children. Studies show that a deprived child has fatigue and is at risk to fall behind or to drop out. Currently, 13 million children in America do not have enough to eat, and that is an embarrassing statistic. I am sure that we can do better. Feeding the hungry is a mitzvah. It is an obligation. It is not a choice. So please fill your bag and return it to the synagogue. When we think about this pandemic, it has taken so much from us. I'm not only referring to the over 4.5 million people worldwide who have died as a result of COVID. And according to many experts, by the way, that's an overly conservative estimate. And more than 600,000 of those dead are Americans. It's not just that I'm talking about. COVID has also robbed us of our physical proximity. Maybe before March of 2020, we took for granted having coffee with a friend, going to see grandma and grandpa, birthday parties, concerts, sporting events, dance and soccer and other activities for the kids, public school, Hebrew school. And consider life cycle events like brisses, baby namings, b'nai mitzvah, weddings, and funerals. These moments of intense joy and intense sorrow are meant to be shared, but the pandemic made it difficult or impossible to do so. In the weekday Amidah prayer, we praise God as being the one who brings all of the dispersed to Israel from the four corners of the world. The prayer begins, "Sound the shofar to herald our freedom." This great shofar is a symbol of redemption for all of humanity and of a time of universal peace and understanding. Whatever we do to establish peace brings us closer to the realization of this dream. My friends, being gathered together in Israel would be really awesome. At this point, I would just settle for being together. Because we humans are social creatures. Study after study has shown that social connections through family, friends, or even with companion animals seems to pay off in terms of good health. We are social beings. And the Torah also teaches us how much we need each other. Because when God created the world, almost every day, God declared, "It is good." Creation is good. The very first time that God said something was not good, that God said something was lo tov, was in reference to loneliness. Lo tov heyot adam levado, it is not good for a person to be lonely. At MJC, we have battled throughout COVID against loneliness. We have helped isolated seniors. Many of us volunteer for Meals on Wheels, which has served its clients throughout these last 18 months. Live streaming and Zoom sessions help, and we've had plenty of outdoor experiences, including the very successful Shabbat at the beach in July. The biblical book of Ecclesiastes, or Kohelet, supposedly composed by King Solomon, speaks about our yearning for socialization. Kohelet said, "Two are better than one, tovim shnayim min ha'echad." Two are better than one, for should they fall, one can raise the other. But woe to the one who falls with no one to raise him. On this, my colleague, Rabbi Michal Springer, taught that falling is inevitable for all of us, and we lean on each other for support in difficult moments. I would add that for those of us worried about elderly or disabled loved ones, actual physical falling is a serious concern. The text continues, "Should one attack, two can stand up to the threat." Again, Rabbi Springer taught that danger is a part of our existence. We are vulnerable to disease, to hatred, to physical abuse, and such risks are more easily managed in community than alone. On Yom Kippur in the sanctuary, we will honor anyone who lost someone close to them due to COVID with a group aliyah to the Torah from their seats. This is one important function of community. We support one another. Again, as wonderful as Zoom is, it is not a substitute for being together. If nothing else, the pandemic has taught us not to take anything for granted, especially in-person gatherings. I would suggest that Shabbat and holiday meals are vehicles for community, which is why, in part, our Friday night dinners and that dinner at the beach that I mentioned are and were so wonderful. So right now I'm starting an initiative to use Shabbat and holiday meals as opportunities to strengthen our bonds with one another. 2 weeks from now is the holiday Sukkot. The custom is that we invite each other into the Sukkah to be together, to have meals together, and to celebrate. And so, not all of you all at once, but in small numbers, I plan to invite you to my home for a meal for Sukkot. You see, Sukkot is an outdoor holiday. It's built for a pandemic. And I hope to continue this at least once a month on Shabbat after all of the holidays. Shabbat, especially with its simple and elegant blessings, it is the Jewish antidote to pandemic-induced anxiety. It is like our chicken soup. And so this will be one of my small things in response to the suffering that we still must endure. And I'm inviting all of you right now to join me in building stronger connections with one another. And here is what I propose. Anyone here who is willing to set at least a once-a-month goal to invite people safely into your home, to celebrate Shabbat or a holiday, to gather together to strengthen our connections, to build our community. If you are willing to do that, I pledge that the Marlborough Jewish Center will buy you a Bagel World Challah. Those of you who know Bagel World Challah, you know that it's like eating cake. I mean, we have discovered so much of what is truly important. So let's rediscover Shabbat and companionship and gathering together. If you'll join me, if you'll take up this challenge, all you have to do is after Yom Kippur, register at the synagogue website. Just let us know which week during the month you would like your challah, and it will be there waiting for you at Bagel World on Friday on Route 9 in Manalapan. So join me and get your challah. I'm serious. I want to sum up these thoughts with a Tibetan proverb that I think really sums up how we can manage the rest of this pandemic and how we can live a good life in general. The Tibetan proverb teaches the following: eat half. Eat half. Walk double. Laugh triple. And love without measure. Here's what I think is the wisdom behind this Tibetan proverb. Eat half. During the pandemic, we've been isolated at home. Don't succumb to bad habits like overeating, like drinking too much, staring at your TV or your laptop or your phone until you become catatonic. Let's acknowledge and reduce those self-destructive behaviors. Walk double. Get outside and move. Exercise stimulates endorphins and enhances our moods. And let's take the last two together. Laughter and love with family and friends is what we need the most, so engage with others safely. Companionship is essential to our humanity. I believe that if we follow this advice, we will be written in the book of life for blessings this new year. On behalf of my wife Natalie, my children, Gabriel, Emma, and Danny, the Pont family dogs, Tommy and Luna, I want to wish us all a Shana Tova U'Mitzukah, a good and sweet new year, and let us say Amen. Amen. Thank you. Amen. All right, we're going to continue with the service now.